Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're back with a daily race C from last week at Catalunya in Group 4. So we did a stream testing out multiple different cars. We went through so many different Group 4 cars until we could find one that maybe could compete. And this was one of the races. We're starting from P5 and we're taking on the Mazdas. Pretty much everyone else in this race in the Mazda. We are in the Megane Trophy. Now the Megane Trophy, really slow on the straight. However, we were trying to test out for fuel here because we were seeing which cars were pretty good on fuel, and it turns out the Megane Trophy is actually pretty good on fuel, and also through the corners this car is an absolute dream to drive. So let's see what we can do. We're starting from P5. We know the Mazda is the strongest car, the M4 also extremely strong around this track, but can the Megane Trophy start competing in this type of race? Let's see. So straight away, first few laps were a little bit rusty, I have to say, because we managed to get one time trial lap in before we went into the race with it. So we had one lap to get used to the car, and then we're straight into the race. And you can see there through the corner straight, first thing I could tell you was once you get used to that little bit more oversteery handling of GT7 with this car, handles very similar to GT Sport. So it's got that same kind of really nice handling where you can chuck it in, get on the power super early. It's almost the perfect handling for what I kind of like. So yeah, we're currently in P5, you can see starting from P5, and we're actually staying in the slipstream to these Mazdas in front of us at this stage. So straight away I was thinking, do you know what, this car might actually have reasonable potential, because we didn't know what the fuel was like at this stage. But if you look on the bottom there, you can see as we come to the end of the lap, as we fast forward there, the fuel still looks pretty good. So what I started to realise at this stage was there might be a little bit of potential with the Megane Trophy, which was quite nice because every single other person in these lobbies were all driving the Mazda. Like literally everyone. This is a top split lobby and everyone's going with the Mazda because it's probably one of the easiest and strongest cars to drive. However, let's see what we can do. Now we know that the Mazda is going to be insanely strong on the straight lines. We know that that car is almost impossible to, well, it is impossible to overtake on the straights if you're in the Megane, because just watch what happens as we get on the power. We get quite a good exit off the chicane there. It was actually quite strong, the Megane, on that final chicane. But as soon as we get to the straights, we fast forward the action, just look how that car pulls away. Even though we're in the slipstream, we even got a little bit of a bump draft, I think, from the red Mazda behind us. So thank you to that driver for helping us out on the straight. He gave us a little boost, helped us forward. And now you can see what I'm using mixture 2 through some of these corners, because the car's so fast through the corners, what I found was you could actually do a bit of your fuel saving in the corners and then just use the mixture 1 for the straights to try and get some of that power out of the car, because it is lacking a little bit of straight line speed. But yeah, into this corner, you can see again, third gear hugs the corners so nicely as the Megane Trophy. And we're actually looking like we've got reasonably competitive pace. Now, bear in mind, we hadn't done any warm-up, no time trial with this car. So with a good proper practice with this car, so doing time trial for half an hour, getting used to it, and then going into a race, I think this car would have been very strong. I don't know if it would have been quite as strong as some of the other cars like the BMW. Obviously that car was just in a league of its own, but I do think this car had potential to cause upsets in this race. As you can see, working through here, and we're starting to get very close to P4 actually. You see he runs a little bit wide there, and he's possibly going to pick up a penalty, which he does. So we need to stay as close as we can to him to try and take advantage of him getting that penalty, and maybe we can gain a spot and put ourselves up into P4 in this race. So you can see on the exit there, he runs a little bit wide again. He's looking a bit out of sorts with his rhythm at the moment. So we're going to try and attack him at this point and see if we can get as close as possible. However, that traction from that four-wheel drive is just so insane from some of the corner exits. It's very hard to find an opportunity. You can see I had a little look down the left there, but no, we can't send that. It would have been too risky to if we think about going for a move there. But again, final chicane, Megane pretty strong there. But again, look at the traction that the Mazda gets on the start straight. Insane. So we're going to skip ahead now to the midway through lap 3 when he takes his penalty, and we're going to have an opportunity to try and overtake him. So he's going to go defensive. We're going to try and hang it around the outside. However, I decided to cut back and try and go up the inside here and try and get a run on him. But the traction off that Mazda is going to be very strong. We're going to go side by side through here, side by side up here, and I'm going to have to back out and then try and maybe go up on the inside through here. But he's got that inside covered. Good defensive driving there by P4. Drove it pretty much perfect for defending the corner. Now we're going to go into the final chicane. Haven't again had a little thought about going up the inside there, but just not really possible. You can see it ahead of us. We're not actually losing that much time to the lead group here. We're actually staying with them. Another bump draft from the Mazda behind us gave us the opportunity to have a little bit of think of a move on P4. Now P4 brakes too late. We take advantage of that. We went for a bit of a fake. I think we caught him off guard by going for that fake, and then we've managed to get that position. So up into P4 in this race, and now we've got a bit of a gap. So the problem here now is we have not got a slipstream, and this is going to be the ultimate test for the Megane. How fast can this car drive with no slipstream and obviously no ability to save fuel? We're going to have to drive it quite aggressive, so we're going to go mixture 2 through the corners and a little bit of a slight short shift on mixture 1, but still pushing quite aggressively. You can see through this left hand corner into the corner. Rotates so nice, this car. It's almost perfect. My literally ideal handling Group 4 car, this Megane. However, it's just lacking a bit of competitiveness against the Mazda, for example. Now, obviously, this lobby wasn't a like massively high rated lobby, but still a top split lobby. We've got A+ drivers in here, so if we can compete with that Mazda with the Megane, I think we've done a pretty good job. So through the long right hand corner, and we take quite a lot of speed through it. And you see that is definitely a strength of the Megane. High speed corners, this car really does carry a lot of speed through them. And we can see on the Delta there, we've actually gone through on a purple sector through up to the second sector split, which is actually pretty interesting because, like I say, we've got no slipstream on this lap and the fuel is still looking reasonably well. Now, I know I need to keep pushing because we need to try and get into that slipstream. And then one thing that I will say is the Mazda did start to fade on the last 2 laps with the tyres, and it wasn't quite as good on fuel. So this Megane is looking quite competitive at the moment. Can we manage to get in the slipstream? Well, getting in the slipstream is one thing, but managing to pass them is going to be another thing. So we're going to skip ahead to lap 6. You can see they're battling a little bit up ahead, which is going to help me massively. You can see they're not really pulling away from us. On the straight, they obviously gain a lot on the straight. But then through the corners, this is where we're going to start catching up a little bit because the Megane is very, very strong on the fast corners. Even the mid-range corners like this corner up here. The Megane's tyres are almost perfect. You can see on the telemetry there. Hardly took any wear off them. Whereas that Megane, the Mazda in the lead group, the 3 Mazdas up ahead, their tyres are going to start fading off because obviously 4-wheel drive uses a lot more tyre wear. So again, into this handling section again where this is quite strong for the Megane. A little bit of acceleration zone here. We lose a few attempts here. However, into this fast left-hand corner, we should be able to gain a couple of attempts back. So again, you can see we're actually into the slipstream now of P3. So this should start helping us out. You can see we've actually pulled away from the other Mazda behind us. So we've done a good job to break the slipstream to the car behind. Now we need to try and attack these 3 Mazdas in front of us and teach these Mazdas a lesson, because I have to say this race was getting a little bit boring with their Mazdas and the BMWs pretty much in every single lobby, and that's why we did what we did. We wanted to find another car that could actually compete. We did actually find a few different cars that were pretty good on fuel but not so good outright pace. This Megane was probably, in my opinion, one of the better options for if you like a handling car, because for example myself, I'm not a massive fan of 4-wheel drive. A lot of people are the same, and yeah, this Megane was really fitting the exact way I want the car to handle. So through here you can see they're going side by side. That's great for me. They're going to lose time. We're going to get the slipstream fast forwarding down straight because we cannot keep with them on the straights because there's a power difference between the cars. So even in a slipstream, we're losing a massive amount of time. However, again, we're into the handling section again now, and we need to try and figure a way of getting past this group because we've got a Mazda in a slipstream, which means that's going to be very, very difficult to find a way past. We're going to have to get very aggressive in a braking zone, or launch one somewhere, or just try and get better exit from a corner. That is another possibility, because if you look at the entrance speed into the corners, we can see that the Megane is a lot stronger going into the apex of the corner and then on the throttle probably a little bit early with the rotation. So again, we're going to get very close here, almost coming into the rear of that P3 driver. However, we avoided him, and again we're going to come up to this really fast sequence of corners. Now again, this is where the Megane is pretty strong, so down to 4th gear, try and clip that apex and get on the power as early as we can. You can see I had a bit of snap on the rear where we're obviously in that slipstream, and the car gets a little bit loose when you're in that slipstream. And now through this long right hand corner, this is the type of corner, if we can get a really strong exit off that corner, maybe we can get a run on P3 into the braking zone. So we're going to go for an absolute send here. So if you watch on the replay camera, we go for a massive send up the inside. He sees it coming, he gives us space. Both of us go side by side through here. Now we're side by side all the way up the hill. We're trying to find the way past. We've got to try and be aggressive. However, we just didn't make that work. We just didn't have the power in the Megane to carry on that move. But we gave it a go, and we're just trying to put him on the press. You can see, showing our front end of the car, letting him know we're there, trying to make him a little bit worried that we might send it again, and hopefully he'll lose the slipstream, and then that'll make it a little bit easier for maybe going for a pass somewhere, because we can stay a lot closer to him into the corners then. So again, working our way onto the straight, and this again is where we're going to lose a lot of time. You can see as soon as we get onto the straight line, we're going to start dropping further and further back. However, the fact that we're in the slipstream at this stage, this is where their cars are going to start fading. On the last few laps, the Megane is going to start becoming a lot stronger in comparison to their cars, because the Megane's getting faster, it's getting lighter on fuel, tyres have got no issue at all with them. Their car is getting lighter on fuel, however, worse on tyres, so they're just getting understeer, whereas I'm not. I'm getting more and more grip, and it's just getting faster and faster. So even on the straights, the Megane started to feel a little bit stronger with the lighter fuel as well. So yeah, it was becoming more viable that we might be able to fight, to battle amongst this podium battle. Even getting in the podium against these would be a good result with the Megane trophy, but let's see what we can do. Into the braking zone again, you can see we've caught right back up to P3, and he's got a bit of a gap up to the top two now. You can see there is a little bit of a gap between P3 and P2, so he's not going to be getting that slipstream quite as strong, so we need to really try and push on and see if we can make a move on P3. So again, through here on the throttle nice, and again you can see with that little bit of dirty air off the car in front, a little bit of snap of oversteer with the Megane trophy, obviously with it being a mid-engine car, rear-wheel drive, just gets that little bit of snap of oversteer. But yeah, I kind of like that about the car. It's got that aggressive approach to driving, and I really like that with the handling model on this car. So into the last sector now, can we get a little bit closer? He goes a little bit deep, P3, you can see a little bit deep, late on the throttle then to get the acceleration down, and the top two are building up a little bit of a gap to him. So can we manage to find a way past P3? We're going to push as much as we can into the next few corners. Can we brake as late as possible, clipping the apex there? And now we just got to get onto this final chicane and try and get as close as we can. We see we're very, very close now to P3, almost on the bumper. However, again, as we get onto the straight, this is what's really frustrating with the Megane trophy. As soon as you get to the straight, there is just nothing we can do. You can see I'm just literally just saving fuel behind me, because I can't really go for any sort of move. I'm dropping further and further away, so we're nearly 3 tenths away now. So again, we're just going to have to be patient and try and get a better exit off one of the corners. So again, into this first sector, can we figure a way of getting a move done? So staying as close as we can to him here. You can see now we're in a pretty good position, because we actually tapped the rear of his car then and helped him out. However, now we've got that extra cornering grip. He's going to understeer towards the exit of the corner here. We've got momentum. We can stay on the throttle. Can we go for a send up the inside? We're going to go for a send into this corner. It has to be done. Go to the right hand side of the track, down to third gear, hold the apex, and we've managed to make a move up the inside. Tiny bit of contact with him there, but nothing major. He holds the line on the outside, and we get ourselves up into the final podium position. So yeah, very nice move there. And now we can try and see if we can work our way up to the lead two in front of us. This is going to be an insane ending. If we can get close to them on the final lap, we could be in for an absolutely brilliant final lap. So really trying to push through this section, because again, this is where we can gain that vital few tenths to get fully into that slipstream. We're already in the slipstream to the top two now, but now we need to try and gain some time through the corners. And you can see their tyres are definitely starting to fade, because you can see we've actually pulled away by 7 tenths to the car behind, and our fuel is actually looking reasonably okay. We should be able to push quite aggressive on the final lap. So again, top two are battling through here. That's only going to help me out as they go side by side. This is all good for me, because it gets me a little bit closer. And again, into these last couple of corners, how close can we get to P2? Can we even sneak a move up on the chicane? Let's have a little look as we go into this final tricky section. Get a much better exit off there. You can see P2 actually has a look up the inside, a bit of an optimistic look up the inside there, I'd say. Actually has a little bit of contact with P1 and doesn't make that move work. I think that was just costing them both time, to be honest. Working our way onto the straight, and just look how close this battle is for the lead on the final lap. And this, again, this is why we play Gran Turismo. Even when the race is pretty boring in the structure of it with the strategies, we're managing to make and have quite a good fun battle here. And this is going to be entertaining. Top two side by side into turn one. Can we figure a way through here? They're going to go into there. We managed to brake just at the right point there. We're right behind P2 now. You can see we've got so much more grip and potential to carry speed through the corners over that Mazda now. Can we figure a way past? So we're going to follow through as close as we can through here, get that slipstream, and maybe go for a move here. So we're going to stay to the right. He's going to go for a move down the right. We're going to fake that, go back over to the left, and then P1 taps into P2. We're going to go see the opportunity with this little bit of a gap up the inside, a little bit of contact with the car on the outside again, but I think that's all fair. There was contact with the other two as well, and we managed to get ourselves into the lead of this race on the final lap. Absolutely brilliant racing here. This is why we love Gran Turismo. Great battling, good fun on the final lap, and just look how close this battle is on the final lap. There's not even a second between 4 cars here. This is brilliant stuff. So through the fast corners, can we work our way onto the straight with enough of a gap to avoid them getting the slipstream? And this is the main thing. We've got to really carry speed through this long right hand corner, onto the power, and we've managed to gain a vital few temps here. You can see it in the mirror, 4 temps ahead. That should give us the security in the braking zone, which it does. We can already brake very late with this car because the tyres are in such good condition. Nice entry into the corner, much better grip on the throttle, and now we've just got to keep it nice and smooth all the way to the finishing line. There's not really anywhere they can go for an overtake unless we make a mistake or we get a penalty. So we should be able to take the win in this race, keeping an eye on the fuel as well, making sure we don't run out of fuel before the finishing line. So nice and smooth through here, down into second gear, clip the apex, get over the curb a little bit on the exit there, and then on the throttle nice and early. And you can see we've actually built that lead up over a second, and we're going to take the win. What a brilliant race, beating the Mazda, the dominant meta Mazda we have managed to beat. So yeah, very, very happy with that race, and pretty reasonable race pace as well from the Megane, considering that was just jump on and have a go with it. We managed like 1 practice lap with it. So yeah, really, really happy with that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you did, hit that like button, and let me know in the comment section what you thought about that racing, and if you enjoyed that week or not. Some people might have enjoyed it. I think it could have done with a bit of strategy, but still, entertaining race that we did there in the Megane. Thanks again for watching, everyone.